Hello, welcome back to Bardic Aggravation, or to Bardic Aggravation, if it's your first time here. Makes sense, right? Kent, this is Brandon. Rick is normally here. If you've seen us before, you've seen his dumb face. He's in Germany right now, knee-deep in beer, apparently, because he had to go over there and drink beer. So that's where he is, and that's why we're working without him. So anyway, who cares? This is our continuing D&D 5e versus DC20 series where we talk about the classes. Today we're doing the Druid class, because that was requested by a couple people. So we're going to do the Druid. We're only doing levels 1 through 2, as always, because the subclasses aren't out for DC20 yet. So we just want to give you the overview of the base class, the class itself, without any subclasses clogging up the whole works and all that, just so you can see what they are at their rawest form. So, the magic system is different in DC20. We already went over that, and the wizard thing that you saw, if you watched it. If not, check it out after you watch this, but there's a link somewhere, and it'll have the wizard one. And the whole beginning of that video is about the difference in the magic system, because there is a big difference. So, first level, what does the D&D 5e Druid get?
Well, they get druidic prepared spells.
The druidic prepared spells?
Yeah, the prepared spells, they get spells in the druidic list. Yeah?
He was looking at the whiteboard. It says druidic, and that refers to their fucking language that they get. Not their druidic prepared spells, but because he can't separate colors and lines, he just threw those all together into one big soup. All the major spellcasters in 5e have to prepare their spells. So you got this big list of spells. You pick which ones you want to cast for that day, and those are the only spells you can cast. As opposed to DC20, you don't prepare your spells. The spells you know are the spells you can cast. First level, the 5e Druid gets they learn Druidic, which never comes up in the game. If you had a DM that lets you do some Druidic stuff, which would be fun, but they never do. I've never had one do it. Then lucky, good for you. And they prepare their spells. That's all you get at first level, But you got some spells. Druid spells at first level aren't so shillelagh, that's great.
How's it?
Whacking stuff.
What does it look like when you do shillelagh?
None of your business. The DC20 Druid, you get this thing called a Druid Domain.
And what is that?
I'll tell you. You can create your own little nature oasis in a 8-space area, as long as it's adjacent to one space to you. So you don't have to be the center of it when you conjure this thing, but it's got to be one space away, and then it's 8 spaces total, which is pretty big. And what happens in this Druid Oasis is up to you. The terrain in there is difficult for anybody of your choice. So your friends are fine, but enemies that wander in there, or you put it while they're there, there's difficult terrain for them. So now they're slowed down because there's just shit in their way. Whatever you decide it is, because it's your oasis, your thing. So you want it to be vines, you can make it vines. If you want it to be, I don't know, earthworms.
In DC20, does difficult terrain follow what D&D 5e does?
Yeah, it costs you half your movement. Yep. And when you cast a spell, you can, instead of, it has to be, cast from you, you can cast it from any space in that 8 spaces.
What?
So it gives you basically a little extra reach on your spell casting. Yeah. So here's another cool thing. When enemies are in your domain, you can spend an action point, I think, or a mana point, one of the points you have, to grapple an enemy. They got to make a saving throw, and if they fail, they're now all wound up with, again, vines or whatever it is you have in there, tentacles, if you made a little water oasis, whatever you want. There's no hard, fast rules. It can be a desert, it can be a,
So it's kind of like controlling your environment to your advantage.
Basically you have, what do you call it, actions? What did you get when the big boss has not legendary action.
Lair
action. It's kind of like you made a little lair action thing going on here.
A little 8-space lair action.
Yeah. And then you can heal allies that are in this space. And they get 1 hit point, and they get 1 hit point per round while they're in there. So
And that's big for DC20, because your hit points, you start off with like 7 to 11 hit points.
there's all kinds of cool things you can do with this flavor-wise as well. Like what?
maybe outside of combat, you create your little oasis with vines, and you can use it as a hammock.
Yeah, you can make a hammock. Sure. You also get wild speech.
What does that mean?
That means you can talk to plants or animals or nature itself, weather. So,
that's not a skill that you get. That's just an ability you have?
well, it's a skilled ability.
I mean, like, so in D&D 5e, to talk to plants or animals, it's usually a skill check.
Yeah, this is something you can just do. So you can talk to, you're not, again, having deep conversations. You're just, how far is the nearest carrot? I don't know whatever you want to ask them. So that's just more of a flavor thing, but you can get some useful information, What would you ask a plant?
Usually it's,
Now, what would you ask a plant?
do you have any medicinal properties?
I thought you were going to be funny. That's a logical thing to ask a plant, yes. Then, at first level, you do get your wild shape. Here it's called a wild form.
There it is.
First level, not second level like the 5e one gets. But let's talk about the differences between the wild shape, wild form thing, because it's pretty big, the differences. So in 5e, how does wild shape work? Do you know? Do you not know? You're going to waste my time.
Usually, you can take your wild shape, and then you take the hit points from your wild shape, and then you have all those hit points. And once you go through all those hit points, you revert back to your original form at your original hit points.
All right, you just jumped way ahead. Like, basically, what is it? What happens when you wild shape? What do you do?
You turn into an animal.
What kind?
Any kind.
No, you don't. At second level, what's it based on that you can choose?
It's a CR rating, right?
What does CR stand for?
Challenge rating.
It's challenge rating. So you can only turn into whatever, everybody knows the 1/8 up to 1/2. So you're turning into little things.
Like a mouse or...
Yeah, I think you can turn into a wolf at best. Not a dire wolf unless you're a moon druid. But yeah, you could, so, that kind of stuff. A little maybe small bear. So lower challenge ratings. It's fine. It's fun. Can you turn into a fish?
I don't imagine why you couldn't. It's got a swim speed, right?
Yeah.
But you can't?
Wow. This is what
Can you not?
No!
Why not?
You don't get a swim speed animal until you're like 4th, 5th level.
Well, that's some bullshit.
Can you turn into a bird?
Yeah.
No. No!
What, because you can't have a fly speed?
Until you're level 8.
Oh my god, D&D 5e sucks.
Hey now. But, here's the thing with DC20. Bear with us. This is, if you don't really know DC20, it may be a little complicated, but it's not. It really isn't. So, basically what you have is you decide what your beast is when you turn into your wild shape, and it can be different every time you do it. So it can be a bear, it can be a wolf, it can be a bird, it can be whatever, or it can be some weird thing that doesn't exist. You can make your own version of a platypus with the beaver tail and the duck beak and the horse cock and whatever else platypuses have.
What?
I don't know.
Why did you say horse?
Because you can make whatever you want. Maybe to get past this part of the adventure, you have to get this female horse pregnant. Who's going to do that?
But you're not going to turn into a horse. You're going to turn into a giant stallion.
With a horse, because you're a stallion.
But you're not turning into a horse. You're turning into a giant stallion with a massive horse.
That's what I said. You can make a platypus with a horse if you wanted to.
Oh, I got lost in the minutia on that one.
So yeah, what it looks like is up to you. But what you're going to do is you're going to have trait points. Trait, not trade. Trait points, so beast traits that you can put in. You're going to get 3 of them to spend on. There's a list of things that you can choose from, either from your wild form traits or one of the races in D&D, the ancestries, is called Beastborn for now. That's changing, but there's all this whole menu of different traits you can take from that too. So you get 3 of those to spend to give your animal whatever you want. And if you spend mana points, instead of using them to cast spells, for every mana point you spend, you get another trait point.
When you talk about trait points, what exactly are you talking about?
These are the things. So you got the basic things you can get, where you can make yourself faster. You can give yourself a speed like that. You can give yourself a climb speed. You can make your hide thicker so that you have a better physical defense armor class. You can give yourself dark vision.
Okay.
You can give yourself echolocation. So you can get these basic things, but then there's all kinds of crazy stuff that you can do as well by spending these trait points. So you want to give yourself a turtle shell, you can give yourself, or any kind of shell, it could be a snail shell, whatever you want. And so now you have a better defense. And you can add more to that, and then you got shell retreat, it's called. You can just go into your shell. You can't do anything, but they also can't hurt you. And even elemental damage is like you're almost immune to or resistant to. And so yeah, that's just if you're really in trouble, you can just right into your shell.
So that means all your mana points are gone while being in wild shape.
But it depends. You can save some, but you can't cast spells in wild shape anyway. So
That's what I was getting
doesn't
at.
matter.
You can't
No.
cast spells in wild shape.
Just like in D&D 5e, you can't.
Okay.
But you don't need to because you're doing all this other cool stuff. You can take spider climb. You can have like an appendage, like a trunk or a tail or a tentacle, and that can be used to grapple enemies or move stuff around.
He's horse.
Horse. You can make you still got your natural weapons. You decide, are those fangs? Are those claws? Are those horns? Are those hooves? What else could be natural weapons, Brandon?
Your eyes?
How? You pull them out and throw them at somebody?
No, just the gleam.
Yeah, these are just a sampling. The list is very large as far as what the choices you can mishmash together to create your wild form. So also what this means, because you can take water breathing and all that, swim speeds, you can, at first level, a druid in wild form, you can be a fish. You can be a flying creature. That's expensive, the amount of points you have to spend. So if you want to fly, all you're going to get is gliding. So you can glide, you can do what's called limited flight, then you get to better flight, but these are a progression, so you have to spend the points to do it. So it's like 2 points for each one. So you get 3 of those trait points to spend, and then you're going to use 3 of your mana points. You need to get up to 6 of those. So it's higher level before you can actually fly. And then you also have to have a point to make yourself large. So you can't be like a flying eagle at first level.
No,
You can just be like a flying squirrel. So all your flying wild shapes can be able to do is kind of scout around, right?
So
They can't attack. They can't carry you.
So level 1, you're kind of like Buzz Lightyear, where you're falling with style.
That's exactly right. Your little Buzz Lightyear.
That's not flying.
And then as far as the extra hit points go, you get 2. You get 2 extra hit points on top of your normal form druid hit points. That's it.
Do they act like temporary hit points?
They are. They're temporary hit points. They're going to get hit first if you get hit. They'll also get healed first if you get healed. But once those 2 are gone and you keep taking damage, it starts cutting into your true form.
It's all about balance. What Alan, the dungeon coach, said, this system's all about balance. You're trying not to overpower something just to decimate everything that you come up against.
Yes, exactly. It's so... Come on. Be reasonable. Because you're adults, right? I had to check the box for this channel that said not made for kids. So if there's any kids watching right now, I'm telling your fucking mom.
If there is a way to overpower the DC20 Druid 1 to 2, level 1 to 2, let us know in the comments.
Huh? What? The other thing that the dungeon coach wanted to make sure was that at first level, you've said this before, no matter what class you're playing, you feel like that class.
Yes.
So you already feel like a druid. And what can druids do? Wild shape.
Yeah, they can take the form.
So you should be able to do that right away. As soon as you come out of the womb, you are wild shaping into crazy little teddy bears and rubber duckies. Baby's first wild form.
Squeak, squeak.
To show what can be done with these wild shapes, Brandon and I have made some wild forms ourselves that we could turn into, kind of using different things. So you're turning into your wild form, you spend an action point and 1 mana point. There's your mana point spent. Now you got your 3 trait points. Right. When you get up to levels 3, 4, 5, you can pump more mana into it and get more trait points. But we're not there yet, so stop making me jump ahead. You guys are so impatient.
Oh my god.
What did you make?
The first wild form I took was a chipmunk. because I wanted to be like really quick and small and to get small little areas. So I actually took the Beast Point or Wild what the fuck, I don't know.
I don't know.
It's the sizing thing.
He's fired.
It's actually costs 2 points. And
to change your size costs 2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's expensive.
Yeah, so I made myself tiny so I can get in those like little crevices, kind of like a mouse, but I didn't want to be a mouse because mice are weird and yucky. I just took a chipmunk because they're really fast and it's like, oh, Alvin. So that was that, and I also took what did I also take? I took Swift to increase my speed by 1 space.
Okay.
So I'm fast and tiny. I can get around really quick.
Okay, so that's your 3 points spent. 2 on the size reduction and 1 on the quick feet.
Yes.
So this is a little sneak scout type of chipmunk you made?
Yeah, it goes around, can listen, find things, goes around, and really, really fast and gets around like little areas.
That's exciting. But, that's what you can do at first level.
Yeah.
Okay.
What about
See how
you?
easy?
What about you?
I made a lizard. And again, you can call it whatever animal you want to. That's up to you. It's not like, oh, this animal gets these traits. Doesn't matter what it is. So I just took a lizard, like a type of Komodo dragon type thing, that size, So pretty good size, but not some giant thing. And I spent 2 of my trait points on web shooting.
Ooh.
So he just spits webs out of his mouth. He's a lizard that spits webs, and if it hits, it restrains people with the webs. So I can restrain an enemy with the webs. And then I spent my remaining trait point on what's called hazardous hide. So my lizard has these retractable barbs that they like porcupine quills, but they're lizardy and they're reptile and scaly. And you can, when you take that thing, you decide what kind of damage it does. And I chose corrosive, which is basically acid damage. So if I have somebody grappled or somebody is grappling me in my lizard form, I can just pop those things out, and now they take 1 point of acid damage, corrosive damage, they call it in DC20, every single round. If they don't let go of me, they're going to fucking melt into a puddle of acid. So they better let go of me.
That's incredible.
At first level.
The creativity behind that is incredible.
Yeah, well, okay, chipmunk boy.
Well, I never thought about being super creative. And
That's what you are, is creative. That's the whole reason he's on this channel, is because he's super creative. And then he lame ducks the fucking chipmunk that's fast and sneaky.
I just want to show the people that they can do things.
I could have told him that. You can make a quick, sneaky chipmunk. But what did you come up with? Quick, sneaky chipmunk. All right, what's your next one? A dog that comes, sits, and stays? You spend all your points on that? What do you got there? I'm sure he came up with something creative on the second one. He just had to get his normal one out of the way. Now everybody get ready. What do you got?
I have the wolf.
I was pretty close. What does your wolf do? That's not just wolfy stuff.
I took keen sense, so he has the ability of really going around sniffing his area and paying attention to the surroundings and understanding like where things are and how things are reacting to the world.
He's like a drug dog?
Yes, like a drug dog. I also took Prowler. That is advantage on stealth checks in the shadows. It's a very sneaky wolf. Think of like the big bad wolf from Red Riding Hood.
That wolf eats people. So what would you use this very original wolf for in the game? Like, what would you have him do?
He would be sneaky. He'd be like a roguey wolf.
Okay, to do what?
To get around basically enemy lines and get the drop on somebody, because I also took the beast trait rend. So
how'd you get that? Didn't you? Oh, you spent 3 single points.
3 single points. Yes.
Okay, maybe this.
So on the with the rend.
Sorry, that was not a glitch. His mind just shut off for a second. It happens.
With rending, you can spend an action point on an attack. So each beast gets their natural
weapons.
So for the wolf, it's bite teeth.
Bite teeth.
So I can
not eat teeth. Bite teeth.
Bite teeth.
He puts in his attack teeth.
I can then rend. So I can spend an action point and force them to to make a physical save. If they fail, they are now they have the bleeding condition.
Which means they're losing a hit point every round because they got a deep wound and it's bleeding. And if they don't do something about it, they're just going to bleed out and die.
So it's a sneaky wolf that can get the drop on somebody.
Pretty cool.
Basically start the attack.
Yeah. So there you go. You can do that at first level. My second one is I took the form of a kangaroo. So my druid can shapeshift into a kangaroo, normal sized kangaroo. And I spent 2 points on something called charge, which means if you move 2 spaces, at least 2 spaces in a direct line, and then you attack, if the attack lands, do an extra point of damage. So I also took natural weapons. If you take the actual trait called natural weapons, now your natural weapons do, whether it's your tail or your claws or whatever, they do 1 damage. Also with that, you get a maneuver.
Ooh.
So you get to pick one of the 3 attack maneuvers with that. So for my kangaroo, I spent the 2 points on charge, so he's going to hop up and get you. And then he's go ahead for his natural weapon. I just took fist, so he's going to hop up and he's going to haymaker you across the face. So he's always the 1 damage for the charge. He gets the 1 damage for natural weapons, and if I use the power maneuver, he gets plus 1 damage for that. He can do 3 fucking damage with his kangaroo paw.
And that's that. And for everybody new here, typically a new player is 7 points at like the minimum.
Even weapons only do 2 damage tops.
Right. So it's like half
Minus
of
your bonuses.
almost half somebody's life. So there's a lot of flavor with the beast traits and the wild form traits that you can take.
It's that we didn't even count the number of traits that they have that you can choose from and mix and match. Literally, the possibilities are endless with the combinations of stuff you can put into your. You can have so much fun as a druid with your wild form, which is why you play a druid in the first place, isn't it? So this is just delicious.
Awesome.
This alone, I would have to say, makes the DC20 druid much better than the D&D druid.
In your opinion, yeah.
In my opinion, but
in my opinion too.
If it's not your opinion, there's something wrong with you because this is just too much fun. Second level, the 5e druid gets the subclass.
Okay, that's pretty cool. That's something.
It's huge. It's huge. The druid subclass it's only a couple good ones, but you get it. You get your subclass, and that's a big deal. And this is also when you can start wild shaping in D&D 5e.
So you have to wait until second level to wild shape.
Yes, but you get your subclass. You really don't get shit at first level as a druid. You just kind of, I don't know, prepping around there, testing out your shillelagh spell. Your druid craft spell, which you're making flowers appear where nobody wants flowers. So second level for DC20, again, no subclasses yet because you're not allowed. You're not mature enough yet to deal with a subclass. You would just wreck the house. We'd lose the house. You'd be in jail. So you're not ready for your subclass yet. So you get 2 things at second level. You get something called Nature's Rest. What that means is any of your allies that take a rest within 10 feet of you, they get a rest point back. Rest points in DC20, you have a number of rest points equal to your level plus your might. So the stronger you are, you get a little more rest points. Not like by a crazy amount. But when you take a short rest or a quick rest, there's 4 or 5 different levels of resting in DC20. Not important, but if you take a quick rest, which is 10 minutes, or a short rest, which is an hour, you can spend a rest point to regain 2 hit points. There it goes. So you're getting more hit points back on these rests, depending on how you want to spend those points. And the druid, if you guys are doing this 10-minute rest or this hour rest within 10 feet of your little druid friend, then you're going to get a rest point back. So you replenish them that way. So that's nice. It's fine.
Just like a support kind of role a little bit.
Yeah, the druid is very restful.
Not restless.
Rest-inducing. Then you get this thing called Nature's Veil. It's a 5-space sphere that centers on you. This one centers on you. There's no choice on that. But what it does, what does it do?
Don't
look at the whiteboard. Nobody wants to see you looking at the whiteboard.
I'm going to guess.
Yeah,
'Cause
what?
I'm not exactly sure what Nature's Veil does, but I'm going to guess that it does something to veil you from your enemies.
You can. So, okay, I'll give him one little point for that. You control kind of the weather in this sphere. So, you can make it windy in here. And so if somebody's shooting you with arrows, range attacks, they have disadvantage because it's so windy and the arrow can't fly straight. And which makes sense. You can create like fog in this area. You can create a dust or a little sandstorm or whatever it is that's going to obscure people's vision. Now, anything in this sphere is partially obscured. So, kind of the same thing. Anybody trying to hit you with a ranged weapon or a ranged spell, they're going to have trouble.
Does
If
that
they
work?
can't see.
Does that work outwardly too?
It sounds like it. Didn't
Okay.
say, but yeah, it makes sense. It says anything within the sphere. So you're going to be, it'll be affecting you as well. And then you can also make it like an elemental thing where anything in the sphere, so if people come up to your little area and they're meaning to do you harm, and you can make it so that they're vulnerable to either cold or heat or lightning. So if you're using those kind of spells on them, then So yeah, you're gonna do more damage with your fire, lightning, and or ice spells. That's what you get at second level for the druid in DC20. And then third level, you're going to get your subclass. Oh, you're also going to get a talent, which is a feat. Like every class gets a feat. At this level, you're going to get one of those as well. We haven't seen the feats list yet. That should be coming out again with the beta, I hope. But it'll be coming out very soon. This is all coming out very soon. The Kickstarter just closed. So now all this stuff is coming together beautifully.
We'll update you in real time as we get the information.
Yes, that's exactly what we'll do. So I know the changes they're making with the Druid in 1D&D. If you guys are going to be interested in that, we're going to cover that too. We saw them, it seems better than the 5e Druid. You can now talk in wild shape, so I'll give them that bonus. You can't do that in DC20.
You can't talk in wild shape?
No, because why could you? But everybody was whining about that. So now you can talk in wild shape in D&D 1 D&D, D&D 6.6. I don't know what they're called.
5.5.
I don't know. You get some kind of auras and stuff. So it sounds like they're improving it. So yeah, those are the differences. What kind of druid would you make? Would you make a tree-hugging, stereotypical hippie, don't cut down the forest thing?
And to be honest with you, I probably would be on that line. I probably wouldn't play a hippie per se, but I definitely would play a very
Unoriginal?
dirty tree person.
Birkenstocks. Incense in your hair.
Pretty much. He would be weird though. He would definitely be weird. He would not speak. He'd speak broken English because he's been in the woods all his life. Very antisocial. Weird.
Even if he plays a stereotypical character, cookie cutter character, it's just so weird and fun. So I would watch him play your normal everyday run of the mill druid because it would just be so fucking weird. We're playing the DC20 playtest. We're recording that. Those will be up soon, so please look for those. You'll see us learning how to play the game, and you can see how that works. We'll try to get it right. We'll fuck it up, but
that's every table though, especially when they're learning a new system. They're gonna mess it up a lot.
yeah, we're not gonna. We're gonna be perfect.
No, that's that.
Perfect. So yeah, go ahead and like and subscribe, because you're nice.
Yeah, that would be nice.
The next class that we're probably gonna do is going to be, I don't know, the rogue or the bard or the ranger. People have been kind of asking for those, so one of those will be next. And okay, bye.